You can do it. We'll see if it stays up this time. No telling. It is up though. There it is. Okay. All right. Before I drop that, that's here. Everything squared away, and then we can see what's going on this morning. Hopefully people will start to roll in here. Oh, my coder's still working. I got it trying to resize the chat bots or the chat boxes. Like, well, you'll see when I refresh the like the chat windows over on the far side over there. Yeah, it's got the black space on the left edge bothering me. I'm gonna get that resized. Okay, anyway, while that finishes up, let us get our screen up here. We can get going. Go. Perfect. Oh yeah, they dropped Opus 4.7 yesterday. Ugh. Fucking garbage. It's hot garbage. It's shit. I mean, it's great, but it's not really better than the other one, the previous one. Really not noticing much of a marked increase in intelligence, if you ask me. Waiting to see what ChatGPT does today. Bet you they've got one coming down any moment. Guess they haven't done it yet, but I'll bet you they'll one up Anthropic here with something better. Oh, what's that? I haven't seen that. Interesting. Life sciences model. Frontier model built to support research across biology, drug discovery, and translational medicine. Interesting.
Decisions. The life sciences model helps scientists make faster and better decisions by combining structured data retrieval, literature search, and scientific analysis into a repeatable workflow in Codex. In this instance, the life sciences model is asked to compare and prioritize 3 targets: IL-33, TSLP, and IL-1 for
Raise your hand if you have no fucking clue what that means.
asthma. It starts with an internal evidence
I got nothing.
package,
Nope.
which includes internal assay results, biomarker strategy, tractability and safety, as well as a target product profile.
Trying to design a pharmaceutical compound, I think, to target asthma.
The life sciences model gives a crisp top-line recommendation. It ranks the
Or no, looking for a test, maybe trying to test for asthma.
targets and grounds the recommendation based on the local data files found. Codex also implies that there is an opportunity to expand upon additional evidence around human genetics or target disease evidence
Yeah, interesting.
that are relevant in order to pull in the right level of human genetic evidence. Once all of the 6 agents that have been subspawned have completed their output, the total outputs will be synthesized in order to generate a final prioritization. By leveraging the output from a variety of databases, the model is able to surface locus to gene context, follow signals across cohorts, bring in target disease evidence, and literature to help resolve ambiguity. The life sciences model is primed with greater thinking and biointelligence for complex scientific tasks.
Wow. That's new. Interesting.
And this is the
Oh, that's like a whole last podcast about it. Okay. Well, fascinating stuff. If you're a scientist, I guess. All right, down we go. There's the beginning of the day. What's Trump doing today? Vegas? He's doing Vegas. Trump does Vegas. He's done Vegas before. He's doing it again now. Oh yeah, that's right. He's going to the Dream City Church. Yep.
Blocked the 5-year.
Hey, and who was it that got like shot at last night in DC? I heard some crap about that. Oh, there it is. Yeah, what happened? Heavily armed Capitol Police racing to a reported shooting in the vicinity of a high-ranking U.S. government official in Navy Yard. Weird. Navy Yard's a pretty nice spot. Can be anyway. Kind of depends. Looking for shell casings.
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Yes, sir. DC. Only place you see people with suits all the time. All day and all night. Other than Tokyo. Fantastic, actually. Man, I wonder what all happened there. I don't know. Hold up. Really? That's interesting. Todd Lyons resigns. What happened? I wonder. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons resigns. Lyons submitted his resignation letter to DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen today. He'll stay on until May 31st. Okay. So I wonder why. Plans to go into the private sector and spend more time with his family. Interesting. Close with Tom Homan. Has respect to the ICE rank and file. Yeah. He seemed like a great guy to me. In my experience with him. I'm a little surprised to hear him leaving though. Bill Malugan says this is not unexpected. I've heard from many sources for quite some time that Lyons has wanted to spend more time with his family. I guess if anything would do it, that would probably have been it. Yeah. One of his sons will be in his last year of high school. Lyons plans to finish out until 531, assist with transition. Yeah, he's Lyons is not like a political guy. He's like a political appointee kind of guy. He came up through ICE. Like he's a nice guy. Like a nice guy and an ICE guy. How long was he? Yeah, 20 years. With it 20 years. Worked his way up. Exactly the kind of guy you want Stan. But family's family, man. Respect that. Oh, did we miss one? Oh yeah, here. Conservatives have blocked an attempt to ram through a 5-year extension of FISA in the dead of night, extending it by only 2 weeks. Was that it?
All right, so you guys have successfully blocked the 5-year extension for FISA tonight. You consider this a...
Oh, I gotta pull my fresh Rumble chat here. That would explain why it's not moving. Morning, good morning. Much better.
When it's a 30-day, when is it?
2 week.
2 week, okay, even better. All right, and why is it important not to extend FISA? I mean, like, keep in mind, this is what they used to spy on President Trump's campaign.
Boy, I got Massey here, okay.
It's a warrantless spying program. Why do you think that they are continuing to try to force this through?
Hey, resize the chat windows. Sorry, just refreshed it. Looks better. It's better.
It's a deep state.
It's a deep state.
It's what it does.
Here's the briefing that we're never going to get. Because, they try to bring us into all these classified briefings and, tell us how dangerous it is to have warrants to spy on American citizens. And the briefing that we're never going to get is, hi, our agency has been given too much power by Congress. We need you to take some of it back.
Who is that?
And today I went in
Who's the lady?
SCIF and saw 2 top secret documents that showed this program is getting worse, not better.
Okay, so how does this, I just want to relate this a little bit to like the average American. How could this affect somebody like, your average Kentuckian, the place that you represent? How could FISA being passed again for 5 years?
If you get on the government's
shit list?
Bad list, naughty list, regardless of who is in the White House, right? They could put your name in this, find things about you, and then go recreate another evidence trail to discover that. Because they're never going to say they used FISA to find this stuff out about it. And then they go, you get a random stop, traffic stop. Oh, it's Burchett.
Burchett's doing his own proof of life video.
Hey!
Hey man, they
what do you think of FISA?
In a Hollywood studio, we really didn't get the
Burchett's
He's got his video going.
He's looking for aliens.
He's Burchett streaming.
Yes.
What do you think of aliens?
I was thinking that was Boebert, but it doesn't look like Boebert and it doesn't sound like Boebert. I couldn't tell who that was.
Actually, both of you.
I'm going to defer to Burchett here.
I believe in illegal and the kind from outer.
No, that's not Boebert. That's not. Who is that? I don't know who that is. Right?
Okay, how about FISA? Are they spying on aliens with
I don't
FISA?
believe in FISA.
You don't believe in FISA either?
Only reason aliens don't come down here because there is no intelligent life. And
You got that right.
anyway, I'm tired. So.
I love this guy. I love all these people. He's nice.
we'll see you, Nick.
So we have some actual, there are 535 of you guys, but very few good ones. So just say that.
Yeah, all right.
So thank you guys. Have a good night.
Bye, Boebert. Be safe.
Okay. Yeah, it was interesting. Owner of social media platform Snapchat said Wednesday it'll be eliminating about 16% of its global workforce. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We're about 1,000 jobs. Yes, that's right. You are pointless. Your life does not matter anymore. Goodbye.
Losses narrowed to just.
At least that's how they feel about you.
The parent company of Snapchat is eliminating nearly 16% of its global workplace, roughly 1,000 jobs. The company said in a filing that the layoffs will cost the company anywhere between $95 and $150 million in severance pay and related costs. The filing also noted that the company's losses narrowed to just under $500 million with $5.9 billion in revenue. The parent company of Snapchat is eliminating nearly.
Why is my bitrate lower than recommended? I don't like that. How do I feel? It is. Well, look at that. That ain't cool. We got to do something about that. Okay. Let's try that. Maybe YouTube will like that better. He's yelling at me. All right. Let's go. Owner of social media platform Snapchat said Wednesday it's eliminating about 16% of its global workforce. Yeah, we did that. Director Lyons resigning. Okay.
Morning to you, and the president is sounding optimistic, but he's also sending conflicting messages on whether he would extend the ceasefire with Iran, with the deadline now just a few days away. Overnight in Nevada, President Trump says the war with Iran should be over soon, claiming it's going swimmingly.
I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect.
The ceasefire with Iran is set to expire in just 5 days. Before the president left the White House, I asked what happens if they do not make a deal.
If there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting, if there's no deal, fighting resume.
But moments later, the president reversing course, saying he would be open to extending it.
If we need to, I would do that.
The president says a second round of talks between the U.S. and Iran could take place as soon as this weekend, as gas prices continue to increase across the country.
How much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon, with the danger that entails.
But gas prices are up $1.11 since the start of the war, now averaging more than $4 a gallon. At the White House, the president also facing questions about his ongoing attacks on Pope Leo.
Lewis, I'm not fighting with him. The Pope made a statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The Pope never said that. He criticized the president for threatening to destroy an entire civilization in Iran and has preached a message of peace, speaking in war-torn Cameroon.
The masters of war pretend not to know that it takes only a moment to destroy. Yet often, a lifetime is often not enough to rebuild.
Catholic leaders rushing to the Pope's defense.
There was a group of bishops that did put out a statement saying the Pope isn't merely exercising his opinion, he's preaching the gospel. I mean, what do you say to people that view this?
Well, I want him to preach the gospel. I'm all about the gospel, but I also know that you cannot let a certain country, which is a very mean-spirited country, have a nuclear weapon.
So no apology there from the president. He also told reporters that he would be open to traveling to Pakistan if a deal were to be reached, Rebecca.
Rachel, a lot in place.
Come on, caffeine. All right, what's next? Judge allows cameras in courtroom for the Tyler Robinson hearing. Oh, okay, then. That's fun.
The judge has already ruled that cameras can be in the courtroom with certain limitations. You cannot show parts of Mr. Robinson. You can't show his communication with his defense. You can't show paperwork, but you can't show his family. But the judge has ruled on this, and we continue to have these motions being filed, and I'm just waiting for the judge to take control. The judge has already ruled that cameras can be in the courtroom with certain limitations.
Officials warning that airlines in Europe could run out of jet fuel by June due to the impacts of the war.
Despite the president's optimism, European airlines are feeling the strain. KLM says they're cutting some flights because of rising fuel prices. Lufthansa has announced it will be grounding some planes, and officials are warning that airlines in Europe could run out of jet fuel by June.
We have maybe...
Dang, sucks to be you guys. Maybe you should be drilling.
6 weeks or so jet fuel left. If we are not...
Hey, put up some more windmills, though. Maybe that'll work.
...able to open the Strait of Hormuz.
You can run an airplane on windmills, right? Yeah. You figure that out. You got it. Supreme Court will be releasing opinions at 10 a.m. today. Another 20 minutes or so.
Persian Gulf behind me. We have...
Excuse me, back to Iran here.
Hey, Lawrence, it is day 5, a full work week of the U.S. blockade out on the Persian Gulf behind me. We have not heard any reports of any major confrontations or incidents. And the latest update from CENTCOM, it says 14 vessels have now heeded the warnings of the United States and complied with the blockade of Iranian ports. Meanwhile, ships not going to or from Iran can pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And here's some audio the U.S. released.
Motor Vessel Molly, this is Warship 112. We will be escorting you to your next port of call. Thank you for your cooperation. This is Warship 112, standing by at channel 16.
President Trump says the U.S. blockade might end up being more powerful than the bombing, as the blockade is estimated to be costing Iran up to hundreds of millions of dollars in losses per day. The president says, believe it or not, the U.S. is on better terms with Iran right now. He thinks a more permanent deal is coming, and the ceasefire may not need to be extended.
I can tell you, maybe it'll happen before that. I'm not sure it needs to be extended. Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago.
The president also announced a 10-day ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. The two countries have been at war, at odds for decades. President Trump says he has invited Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the president of Lebanon to the White House for a meeting as well. And here in the Middle East, we are monitoring the increasing potentiality that there will be peace talks in Pakistan. The president said yesterday on the White House lawn that if there is a deal made in Pakistan, he may go there himself. Back to you guys in New York.
So, Matt.
Islamists and Hezbollah use leftists on college campuses to protest and go against civilization. What this?
أعتقد أن الرهان على قدرة العرب والمسلمين على استثمار هذه التحولات التي نشهدها من خلال مشاركة الطلاب الغربيين المتظاهرين في الغرب. تم الطلاب عرب يتظاهرون في الغرب، هذا نفهمه، لكن الطلاب
Yep, no idea. We have Muslim students agitating. I bet you do. But it's the Western students themselves who will destroy their own countries. Yeah, yeah. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire.
Good morning, Rebecca. The fighting continued in Lebanon right until midnight when the 10-day ceasefire began, greeted by volleys of gunfire into the air. Overnight, President Trump warning the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah, posting no more killing. This morning, despite warnings by the Israeli military not to return to their homes in the south of the country, tens of thousands are doing just that, waving flags, honking horns as bulldozers try to reopen bombed-out bridges to let people pass. The ceasefire in Lebanon, of course, was a key Iranian demand in talks with the US and would be part of a larger deal. But turning it into a lasting peace is going to be difficult. We have been here before. Hezbollah is highly unlikely to disarm, and Israeli forces look set to remain in the south of the country. Michael?
Yeah, Ian, hopefully a deal can be reached and it all can end. Thank you so much for that. And we're
Good morning, Rebecca. The fighting continued in Lebanon right until midnight when the 10-day ceasefire began.
Over 200 swarm Atlanta intersection in a chaotic legal street takeover. That's a lot of people.
You better stop, Fontaine! Put it there. Get on the ground. Is any shots fired out there? Turn around. I'm a negative. That's possible. Get on your back. I can't get on shot fired. Yeah. On the ground, lay down. I got you. Face down. Yep. All right. Yeah.
Freaking kids, man. Idiots.
708, you breaking up.
Multiple firearms from the vehicle, including a Glock and a black BB gun.
You detained? Street racing. That's why you're detained. That's why you're going to jail.
Okay. Trump says, sends this very clear message to Senate GOP. Oh, you just retweeting Mike Lee, yeah. This isn't working. It's time to nuke the filibuster. Pass the SAVE Act. And yet here we are. I haven't done it, so. Oh, son of a gun. Now, gotta scroll again. All right. Okay. Where are we at here? Where are we at? There we go. Okay. Next step. Anthropic to have peace talks at the White House? What is that? What manner of peace talks? Okay. Dario Amodei scheduled to walk into the West Wing on Friday today for a meeting with Susie Wiles, huh? Yep, they're implementing Mythos throughout the U.S. government right now, apparently. Well, I wish they would have given us that and not whatever Opus 4.7 is, because that sure ain't what I was told. Chinese firm Mizar Vision posted detailed satellite imagery of U.S. forces in the Middle East while not disclosing its data sources. Oh, okay. China Select Analysis found... Pardon me. Found Airbus space satellites had multiple daily windows up to 10 hours where they could have captured imagery of U.S. troop positions before the Iran conflict. That imagery later appeared online via the China-based AI company. So how are they getting access to an Airbus space satellite? Chinese firm with undisclosed satellite sourcing published precise annotated imagery. That imagery identified the exact aircraft types that were subsequently destroyed in a precise Iranian strike. An analysis suggests Airbus space satellites were the most plausible sources for that imagery. Wow. Yeah, why was that happening?
That weaponization. How bad is this? What that weaponization? The conspiracy to get Trump over 11 years real?
Oh yeah, it's real. This is actually my sweet spot, and I speak from personal experience. Brett Tillman, the former U.S. attorney from Trump 1. Former U.S. attorney for Utah, said the Kiriakou case was the template, these were his words, was the template for the Democratic Party's policy of lawfare. When they saw that they could get me, I was helpless. I was nobody. I'm a nobody. I'm just a guy.
Why'd they want to get you then?
That they wanted to test out the policy and see if they could, because then they went to General Flynn. And then after General Flynn, it was Manafort. And after Manafort, it was the president himself. And the next thing you know, you're drowning in millions of dollars of legal debt. Your reputation is ruined. Getting back to your original question, of course there's a deep state, and it's dangerous. You don't have to call it the deep state. You can call it the federal bureaucracy if you want. But there are people in places like the CIA, the FBI, NSA, who are there for 25, 30, even 35 years, and they know presidents come and go every 4 or 8 years, and they can outwait this president. And if this president does something that they don't like, they know exactly how they can ruin him. You know, this nonsense, for example, not just Russiagate as an operation. Let's talk about the letter regarding the Hunter Biden laptop. I know every single one of the 51 signatories on that letter. Every single one of them was a Democrat. And not just a Democrat, but a Democratic activist. And that didn't used to be the case at the CIA.
Yay. CCP pursuing AI dominance by 2030. And when it cannot compete fairly, it steals. Yeah, they do that.
We are not,
even when they can compete fairly, they steal. They just do it anyway. They just steal anyway.
Prepared to secure our AI systems. If we decided tomorrow that it was a top national security priority to prevent the CCP from stealing our most capable AI software, we would face extraordinary challenges. We're starting from a vulnerable position. The CCP seeks full AI domination by 2030, and it lacks the capital and talent to win fairly, so it steals. And these aren't theoretical harms. Right now, Chinese AI developed from stolen American technology is helping Iran target American warfighters. We are not prepared to secure our AI systems.
Ain't that the truth? AI's labor market with most exposed jobs that AI can perform. Share of job tasks that AI can perform. Computer programmers, oh yeah. Low-level ones. You're done. Customer service reps, yep, done. Data entry, how is that even still a thing? Done. Medical records specialist, done. Market research analysts and marketing specialists, yeah, pretty much done. Oh yeah, sales. Bye-bye. Not all the way, but a lot of them, bye-bye. A lot of this is going to go the way of the dodo. More jobs will pop up, doing other things, in other ways, but c'est la vie. Senior British official resigns over Mandelson appointment, but Starmer insists he will not go. God, that face, man. White House investigating mysterious deaths and disappearances of 10 scientists connected to nuclear and space research.
At home. This is not normal. They just literally disappeared, left all of their devices at home. This is not normal. These are some of the most advanced scientists, researchers.
I'm kind of curious about this. Curious what the average rate is, just on the general population. How many people per 10,000 end up disappearing? Probably should have done 100,000, but oh well, it'll extrapolate. At a decimal point. Okay, come on. Here. Curious, like how much this, much of a standout this is for any given population. No official statistic, of course. Okay, yeah, but. Rate per 10,000. Come on. I think a few. Yeah, 1 to 2 per 100,000. Interesting. Overwhelming majority of cases resolved, not mysterious. So I think that would put it pretty squarely in, yeah, like a little weird. A little bit into the weird territory. Because if you go back, if you look at like the pool of people that these people hail from, like a like how many people work at NASA? Say, I think there have been like 3 or 4 of these people have worked at NASA. NASA employs, I think, somewhere between 10 and 20,000 people. Oh, closer to 20. So by the average rate, at least according to Grok, who knows how accurate that is, there should be like maybe half a person missing out of that full load of 17,000 to 18,000 NASA employees on average. And there's definitely more than that. So not a lot more, three or 4. But nothing to sneeze at either. Like, something could absolutely be going on here. Definitely worth looking into. Could just be chance. Who knows? It's low enough it could be that, but high enough that you ought to look. EU set to begin formal talks with Syria on May 11th. Resuming 1978 cooperation agreement with plans to reframe and adapt Syria's sanctions and increase economic engagement with a new framework for trade and investment. That would really be something. Syria, huh? Gemini in Pentagon talks. Google Gemini in Pentagon talks after Anthropic Claude AI rift. Please don't. Oh, God, Gemini's fucking terror. It's not that good. Oh, it's so bad. It's like barely even. It's good, but it's not like Not nearly on the level of Claude and ChatGPT. Missing in a lot of ways. Military is widening its options. Trying to find someone who won't pussyfoot when it comes to what the government can do with it. Interesting. Harville lays out Democratic plan to add states and pack the court to retain power. They want to add states, huh? They want to turn DC into a state. We all know that, but where else?
NEA delegates, we can do this work.
Oh God, that lady, she's freaking crazy. Cuckoo. Crude oil now projected to fall below $80 a barrel by the end of June. A 69% chance. That ain't bad. Let's hope so. Might actually be pretty close already. What do we? I mean, this is last night, so where are we at now? Oh, look at that. There it goes. Getting quite close as of like just an hour ago. Plunged a good 10% today so far. First ever moratorium on AI data centers passes Maine legislature. Interesting.
Port Washington, Wisconsin this week became the first city in the nation to pass an anti-data center referendum. Residents of the Milwaukee exurb, which is already the site of a proposed AI campus backed by the Trump administration, voted Tuesday to restrict future development. It's part of a growing backlash to AI infrastructure across the country, a movement that is gaining steam among progressives in particular, with Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez introducing a bill last month to impose a nationwide moratorium on new data center construction.
Today, we are announcing legislation to impose a moratorium on the construction of new AI data centers until strong national safeguards are in place. That means the government reviews and approves AI products before they are released, that the economic gains of AI and robotics will benefit ordinary Americans. Further, that AI data centers do not increase electricity or utility prices, harm communities, or destroy the environment.
We are back with Kim Strassel, Jason Riley, and Alicia Finley. So, Kim, what's behind this this opposition to data centers?
Well, a lot of it's politics, Paul, but some of it's also just classic progressive reactionary views to things. I mean, they make an argument on economics that these data centers are going to drive up the cost of your electricity. They weave it into their Green New Deal issues and talk about the environmental effects of this. It'll take the water. It'll be terrible for the land. It'll make us use more fossil fuels. There are AI fear-mongering going on here. Robots are going to take your jobs, but a big part of this, Paul, is just a populist pitch, the way so many progressive things are, saying, the guys that are all behind AI, they're billionaires, millionaires, and this is just a giant wealth transfer that's all going to be levied on the back of average Americans. And it's being done fundamentally, Paul, for, I think, electoral gain, but it's rapidly becoming a new litmus test within the progressive movement.
Now, Alicia, you follow this issue closely. What is the actual evidence between AI data centers and electricity prices?
The reality is there is no correlation between the two. In fact, the places in the country which have the highest electricity prices, and that's New England and California, also actually have the least data centers. And that's because data centers, or the hyperscalers who are in charge of building these data centers, go to places that have low electricity prices because they want to reduce their costs. Now, there is a concern that the additional demand from these data centers, and they do require a lot of energy. For instance, just basically training one query uses about 1,000 times as much power as one Google search. So just put that in perspective, that these data centers will impose increasing strains on the grid, requiring more power generation and thereby causing prices to increase. So there's some kind of movement among the states to require these data centers to build their own power generation. And a lot of the data centers and the hyperscalers are doing that anyways, because they're facing huge wait times to connect to the grid. So it's actually in their best interest to actually build their own natural gas generators.
If this succeeded, this movement against data centers, Jason, what would be the consequences for the American competition with China on AI?
Well, that's one of the problems here. AI technology is going forward no matter what, and when we're going to have to compete as a country. At the same time, Paul, I do think that a lot of these AI poobahs have been a little arrogant in how they've talked about how this technology is going to transform the country. I mean, Bernie Sanders would probably be happy if the robots were simply unionized, and then he had no.
Oh, dear God, don't say that shit, sir. Don't give them ideas.
No problem with them.
And give them the vote, too.
Right, and give them the vote, too. But this talk from Sam Altman and others about, how many, a third of white-collar jobs being wiped out, and how it's going to be so devastating to workers that the government's going to have to, put out a universal basic income to people whose work won't be worth it anymore. This really scares a lot of people. And I don't think
Yeah, nobody wants to be pointless. I mean,
they really appreciate the backlash that is coming to this.
That's the real fear, isn't it?
I remember that dock workers strike from a couple years ago. And we got to look at some of the union contracts involved there. Some of those contracts, Paul, didn't allow machines to be used to load and offload cargo.
Right.
This is the 21st century. What do you think these labor unions are going to do when AI is coming after their jobs? And I really think that the sort of the billionaires behind this need to think hard about how they're going to sell this product to people going forward, because it's very easy to scaremonger, and that's what the left is doing now, and that's not going to stop. That's going to increase.
Well, and Kim, a lot of these big Silicon Valley CEOs were all gung-ho for green energy, solar and wind, which has proven to be inadequate.
Not enough. Not going to be enough. Not until we get solar in space, like really well off the ground. That's the only way that's working.
In the extreme, to produce the amount of power needed to fund AI data centers. Have they learned a lesson there?
Well, yeah, and that's actually been a really good thing to see, Paul. They've had to wake up to the reality of that.
Orlov, such shit. All right.
With his personal and patriotic ones.
Why not?
You can't understand Trump because his political decisions align with his personal and patriotic ones. You understand Kamala, you understand Gavin, you understand Biden, because their political decisions are divorced from the things people want. Why are you on the 20 of every 80-20 issue? Is because you divorced political desires from human needs.
Shadow Artist and Rumble Chat says AI newscasters as well. It's coming for your jobs too. Hey, believe me, I'm thinking of building one. So I certainly got the data set for it.
And then you have to dress up your decisions as compassion when they're merely wants from an activist class. The thing about Trump is, I don't care whether you like him or hate him, you're suffering from the Trump-America alignment problem. Political, personal, and patriotic desires all stack up.
Impro Group CEO Fred Vakala Says cybersecurity initially took a back seat in the early days of large language models, but as enterprises adopt AI, yep, safety and resilience across supply chains are becoming a priority. This is part of what I'm working on. God, I got stuff I gotta do. Ugh, I'm literally like working on it right now. Right freaking now. In the background. So I wish I could say more. But I gotta move. Because this world does not sleep. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. reveals the Biden admin was blocking Christian families from adopting foster children.
I've said President Trump and the First Lady, who's been extraordinary for us to work with, have said their vision is one family for one child. Right now we have a 2-to-1 ratio. And part of the reason for that is that the Biden administration was excluding an entire class of people because of their religious beliefs and told the states to actually pass laws, instructed them to pass laws refusing families who had certain religious beliefs, mainly Christian religious beliefs, to not be allowed to have children. And that dramatically constricted the pool of available parents. We are changing that. President Trump and the First Lady, who's been extraordinary for us to work with, have said their vision is one family.
Huh. Several armed men robbed a bank in broad daylight in Naples, Italy, holding 25 people hostage before escaping through a tunnel. Get out of here. That's some movie shit. That's nuts. 3 armed suspects entered a Credit Agricole branch and held employees and customers for nearly 2 hours. The robbers wore masks depicting famous actors. Wow. Dude, that's crazy. Although armed, hostages later said the group acted professionally and did not use physical violence, instead locking everyone in a room while they carried out the robbery. Good for them. Fair enough. I respect that. I suppose. A little bit. As elite Carabinieri special units were preparing to storm the building, the suspects escaped through a pre-drilled hole in the floor leading to the city sewer system. Man, oh man. The gang targeted safety deposit boxes rather than the main vault. Smart. Stealing valuables from hundreds of private boxes, making the total loss difficult to estimate. All 25 hostages eventually freed. Despite a large-scale manhunt involving sniffer dogs and sewer searches, the suspects remain at large. Man, a large-scale freaking bank robbery like that in this day and age, the days in which you can pull that off are coming very quickly to a close. It's shocking, honestly, that it's still even possible. In a big city like Naples, no less, like, wild.
Partigiano, porta mi via. Oh, vela ciao, vela ciao, vela ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, porta mi via.
Is this nigga really... Is he singing the Bella Ciao song? Shit. Really? Oh, they're playing it in the background. Okay. Oh, the guy taking the video was singing it. I was like, what? So excuse me, what are you doing, sir? Chill out. Calm down there. Okay. America First Legal, which is founded by current White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, alleges the Maryland School District, I don't know which one, Montgomery County, of course, is in violation of the U.S. Constitution's First and 14th Amendments as it relates to their so-called gender identity policies. Betcha. They're disgusting. Concealing students' gender transition information from parents. Yep. Yay.
How much power and leverage does President Trump have right now?
All the power. All the leverage.
It's considerable. He has doubled down on the Iranians who took control of the Straits, and as a result of that, they were able to stop the war. But since that time, this is what has happened. And so our audience clearly understands the entire economic viability of Iran being able to go forward and actually this regime exist as a nation state is now in our hands. We have control over their destiny for sure. 90% of all of their oil goes right through there. That's the reality of what has taken place here. They're completely dependent on that economy. That economy will absolutely collapse if this continues, this blockade continues. So I think these are less about negotiations in my mind. I know why we want to use that term, but it's more about putting our terms on the table and you take it or leave it.
Okay. Iran apparently, according to Trump, totally agreed to give up nuclear ambitions. Of course, they've done that before. Deal very close. Oh, wow. 2-month-old infant safely rescued after a police pursuit ended in a crash at a church in Kentucky. Yeesh. Child abduction. Whoa, look at that cop car, man. Dang, bro. That's a boo-boo. Closure of the Strait of Hormuz has trapped an estimated 136 million barrels of oil in the Persian Gulf, just floating around.
Has the world economy been saved by this pipeline? Since the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, 15% of the world's oil supply has been trapped in the Persian Gulf. But Saudi Arabia has a partial workaround, the East-West pipeline.
Way to go,
Since
guys.
the war began, the country has increased its use of the pipeline, transporting 7 million barrels of oil per day to this port on the Red Sea. Without this lifeline, the world economy would be in much worse shape. The pipeline was built in the 1980s as a contingency.
Good job, Saudis. Way to go.
In case the Iran-Iraq war blocked the Strait of Hormuz.
Hey, how about that?
This is Iranian Navy warship.
The strait has never been blocked until now, and the current crisis is highlighting the pipeline's strategic value. This chart shows exports from Saudi's Red Sea port of Yanbu, where the pipeline ends. Exports have tripled from 1.6 million barrels per day before the war to 5 million by mid-April. The pipeline is not a perfect fix. Iran hit it in early April, briefly knocking out 700,000 barrels per day of capacity. The Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen could also attack ships in the Red Sea. They have reinforced positions there, and it would only take a handful of strikes to disrupt another of the world's most important shipping lanes. Despite these vulnerabilities, the pipeline's strategic importance is reportedly prompting other countries to consider building their own. For decades, Iraq tried and failed to build a pipeline from Basra to the southern port city of Aqaba in Jordan. Today, that's leaving Iraq having to improvise. In April 2026, it struck a deal to send oil through this long-dormant pipeline to Turkey, but only a tiny fraction of its normal exports are getting out. The United Arab Emirates is also reportedly considering an expansion of its pipeline from Habshan to Fujairah. Bypassing the Strait of Hormuz, the country is sending nearly 2 million barrels through it per day. But the port of Fujairah has come under attack several times since the start of the war. Ultimately, the East-West pipeline is no substitute for opening the Strait of Hormuz. An estimated 136 million barrels of oil are stuck, even with the pipeline at full flow. But in an era of volatility, such contingencies matter more than ever. In Saudi Arabia's case, a decades-old gamble on the East-West pipeline has not just helped keep its economy moving, but the world economy too.
A cool little video. Very nice. One of the elements being negotiated in the 3-page peace plan between the U.S. and Iran is that the U.S. would release $20 billion in frozen Iranian funds, quite a bit of money, and in return for Iran giving up its stockpile of enriched uranium. Okay. Okay, what's next? Google targeting bad ads over bad actors. How dat? How so? Search giant attributed the disparity. What's that? Oh, wow. They've been blocking more ads. 8.3 billion blocked, up from 5.1 billion the year before. Company suspended far fewer advertiser accounts than that surge might suggest. Oh yeah, it's all coming from AI. Yeah. Lets them detect things better. Yeah, we should not extend the ceasefire deadline. Well, let's hear it here.
The ceasefire deadline. And we should not extend the ceasefire deadline. That gives us the muscle to get them right now in the next few days to admit that they're going to give us everything that we need to do to put this to an end once and for all. And if they don't do that, then the blockade continues and we rearm and we get back into combat operations. That's what's hanging over their head. They're playing for the fact that the political and economic pressure on the United States is significant, and we want to end this, and our desire to end this now, they want to kick the can down the road in terms of extending the ceasefire so they can get better terms later on. That's who they are. We know that. And even when they agree to terms, Brian, we got to recognize these guys are liars and cheats. And we've got to stay on top of them. So we don't unfreeze any assets and give it to them. We don't go through sanction relief. We don't do any of that until way down the road, and they prove to them, to us, that they're actually serious about behavior change.
All right. Oh, Harridge. You up to? So we got those court rulings coming out here. Coming up soon. Oh, wow. U.S. Attorney Pirro launches an Eric Swalwell tip line. I wonder how bad that's going to get prank called. I guarantee you it's happened already. Rep Luna says major purge on Capitol Hill is just beginning. Calls Swalwell's potentially criminal conduct an open secret. Yeah, how many others are doing it? And vows to expose taxpayer slush fund used for sexual harassment settlements, because there's a lot of them. They like to sexually harass. Favorite pastime out there. You know. From calling Tucker a low IQ person, along with Megyn Kelly and Candace. Really dumb and mentally ill. Oh, and bankrupt Alex Jones, who's completely fried. I like that word, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you. It's one of my favorite words. As you all well know, I use it so often. Deep fucking fried. Indeed. There are others also. Then we have some that are very good. True MAGA all the way and smart. Should do a list of good, bad, and somewhere in the middle. Wouldn't that be fascinating? Why not? Oil prices tumble 5% on hopes for a U.S. Iran deal. More than that by now. Let's check again. Oh, down even more. Iran officially, here we go, reopens the Strait of Hormuz for all commercial vessels for the remaining period of the ceasefire. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route as already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
war with Iran.
Oh, here we go.
Overnight in Nevada, President Trump says the war with Iran should be over soon, claiming it's going swimmingly.
I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want.
Breaststroke, or we doing the?
And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect.
The ceasefire with Iran is set to expire in just 5 days. Before the president left the White House, I asked what happens if they do not make a deal.
If there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting. If there's no deal, fighting resume.
But moments later, the president reversing course, saying he would be open to extending it.
If we need to, I would do that.
The president says a second round of talks between the U.S. and Iran could take place as soon as this weekend, as gas prices continue to increase across the country.
How much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon with the danger that entails.
But gas prices are up $1.11 since the start of the war, now averaging more than $4 a gallon. At the White House, the president also facing questions about his ongoing attacks on Pope Leo.
Lewis, I'm not fighting with him. The Pope made a statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The Pope never said that. He criticized the president for threatening to destroy.
He didn't. Of course, he didn't outright say it. He implied it. Like, come on.
An entire civilization in
Does he have to spell it out for you?
And has preached a message of peace, speaking in war-torn Cameroon.
The masters of war pretend not to know that it takes only a moment to destroy. Yet often, a lifetime is often not enough to rebuild.
Catholic leaders rushing to the Pope's defense.
There was a group of bishops that did put out a statement saying the Pope isn't merely exercising his opinion, he's preaching the gospel. I mean, what do you say to people that view this?
Well, I want him to preach the gospel. I'm all about the gospel, but I also know that you cannot let a certain country, which is a very mean-spirited country, have a nuclear weapon.
So no apology there from the president. He also told...
It do be like that. It do. Canada Post taking steps to stop home mail delivery? Isn't that why they exist? What? Canada Post initiating talks with 13 communities to begin converting about 136,000 addresses from door-to-door delivery to, oh wow, community mailboxes. A standalone unit with a designated space for each of the multiple residences it serves. That's right. You get Soviet slop. You get Soviet slop mailboxes. Fuck you, Canada. Fuck you. Your own postage service hates your guts and wants you to live in communist hell. Congrats. Yeah. House Judiciary Committee Democrats launch probe into Jared Kushner. What are they doing? What? Load the page. I don't want to load the page. I give up. I tried. Inquiry says you are now reportedly participating as special envoy for peace in negotiations on behalf of the U.S. to address the roiling conflicts in the Middle East. At the same time, you are soliciting billions of dollars from Gulf monarchies for your private business ventures. Release the autopsy. What's this about? Oh, of the of the election? Okay. They want to know why they lost in 2024? I mean, isn't that kind of obvious? You need to hack apart a dead body to figure that out? So to speak. I don't think so. I mean, just listen to people. That's all you got to do. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon. Yeah, we saw that. They're open. Strait's open. Oh, Rep. Jeffrey is getting asked to comment on the Swalwell investigation.
I learned about the allegations the same way that the overwhelming majority of people learned about the
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you knew absolutely nothing.
allegations, which was the San Francisco
Total surprise.
Chronicle article, and it was shocking.
So, shocking.
We issued a statement immediately.
Shocking.
As it relates to the situation that was unfolding. That statement strongly speaks for itself. My current view of the situation is that there are ongoing criminal investigations. Those investigations need to be swift and comprehensive, should follow the facts, apply the law, and make sure at all points in time that those brave, courageous women who have come forward are treated with dignity and respect. I learned about the
What is he doing? Just random hand movements. No rhyme or reason to him. They just like Down syndrome Obama. Iran's foreign minister declares Hormuz Strait completely open for the rest of the ceasefire. U.S. considers $20 billion cash for uranium deal with Iran. Pallets, we're back to pallets of cash. I mean, really? I don't think so. Let's hope not, anyway. AI agents can do your shopping. Could you let them? It's coming. It's coming quick. It's coming this year. You can technically already do it. Yeah, but should you? I'd say it probably depends. Yep, isn't mainstream yet. Pretty risky right now because there, aren't enough guardrails in the system for people to feel comfortable with agents autonomously buying things for them. It could potentially go buy a car, but I wouldn't say, here's my credit card. Amex this week announced new services and protections for cardholders who make purchases using specified AI agents. Really? That includes verifying the identity of an agent when it makes a purchase. According to the credit card issuer, the service will protect eligible customers from charges related to AI agent error. But what happens? What happens when that system fails? Wonder. Which it will. A lot. Wait. And what happens when all the other systems that interface with that system fail? And they will. A lot. Just wait. It's gonna be a weird year, man. It's gonna be a fun year, too. I hope. It's already been pretty fun for me so far. Speaking of, I got work I gotta spin up here. Give me a second. Here, we're gonna spin that up. Oh, ding dong. And good. I'm gonna have to shut him up though, or he's gonna yell at us here for the rest of the show. Here he goes. Okay, where's my sound settings? There we go. You should pipe down. Okay. Judge McElroy, a Trump appointee, continues DOJ's unbroken losing streak in efforts to obtain state voter rolls. He calls it a fishing expedition. Ridiculous. Oh, wonder how long this lasted. A new Dunkin' Donuts opened in the hood of South Central. Yeah, Los Angeles. Of course. Where else? Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood or your Dunkin' Donuts. Location opened with just drive-through and order here kiosks on the outside of the building. No indoor seating or walk-up counter service. Wonder why. This is due to, yeah, California crime. Let's see it. I want to see this thing.
They don't put a Dunkin'
They got cages on the windows.
Donuts in the hood. Stop giving them praise though, because check this out. Only drive-through. They want our money, but they don't want us inside. Look at this. It's just a window. Drive-through, no indoor seating, of course. Now you can support these businesses
I wonder why.
all you want. I refuse. I rather shop small, local, coffee shop. I get it, efficiency, people want that as well. But realistically, this is what's coming into our neighborhoods. Places that want our money but don't want us, because how difficult is it to just put a dining area inside?
How difficult is it to put a dining area inside a restaurant or a shop of any kind in the hood? What could possibly maybe be a hurdle that might get in the way of that?
I grew up in this area.
Yeah. Could it be the hood? Yes, it would. Yeah. It's the hood. Guided missile destroyer USS Rafael Peralta directs a merchant vessel to return to an Iranian port as it enforces U.S. blockade.
Request you return to original port of call in Iran. How copy? Over.
Hey, if you've never seen that movie, by the way, great movie. Don't be a menace. There it is. Oh, excellent film. One of the greats. The 90s. Rated terribly, but it's one of those so bad it's good. As you can see there. Oh, it's classic. A good ride. Barack Obama calls for Virginians to vote yes in new video, just days before crucial redistricting election.
Hey, Virginia.
Yeah, they want to gerrymander the shit out of my state. Of course, they don't call it gerrymandering when they do it. When they do it, it's redistricting.
Early voting is underway.
Ridiculous.
And Virginians
Come on now.
Are turning out in record numbers to vote yes. By voting yes, you have a chance to do something important, not just for the Commonwealth, but for our entire country. By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterms. By voting yes, you can take a temporary step to level the playing field. And we're counting on you. Early voting is happening right now. Election Day is on April 21st. So go to iwillvote.com/VA to find your closest polling location. Make a plan, show up, and vote yes, Virginia.
Fuck off.
And as you just heard here, Democrats in California are now spring.
Yeah, you can fuck off too. Okay. No more sleeping in your car or RV in Oakland, California. After months of debate, Oakland has passed a controversial measure allowing the city to clear vehicles from public spaces even when no alternative housing is available. How dare they?
No more sleep.
How dare they clear these dirtbags out of the streets?
In your car or RV. After months of debate, Oakland has passed a controversial measure allowing the city to clear vehicles from public spaces even when no alternative housing is available. NBC's Valina Jones has the details.
Oakland is
God, what a train wreck. Look at this.
changing how it handles people living in RVs and cars. A new policy approved Tuesday gives the city authority to remove those vehicles even when alternate shelter isn't available. Officials say they're still required to make reasonable effort to offer housing. The new policy also allows the city to be able to shut down encampments with little notice during emergencies. Councilmember Ken Houston, who led the effort, says the current system isn't working.
Encampment management plan 5 years ago has failed us.
Until now, RVs and cars were treated as encampments, limiting how quickly they could be towed. The new policy speeds up removals, especially in what the city calls high-sensitive areas near schools, churches, and along business corridors.
How
we have
insane.
low sensitivity areas where we say, okay, you have a car, you have an RV, move to the low sensitivity areas until we can get you shelter or housing. See, that's the misperception, that they think, oh, we're going to close it down and we're going to tow.
The change is drawing strong reactions, with some business advocates cheering it and urging the city to classify more areas as high sensitivity.
We are here today to ask the plan be updated and to include the areas surrounding the Prescott Market, changing it from low sensitivity to high sensitivity area.
But homeless advocates warn the policy could make things worse, saying there simply isn't enough shelter available.
An amendment like this that increases sweeps and further criminalizes unhoused residents is likely a step in the wrong direction.
Right here I have kind of my wash kitchen.
Derek Sue has lived on 77th Avenue for 12 years.
Which is
Oh my gosh.
He represents 300 homeless in East Oakland through the Homeless Advocacy Working Group and fears the new policy will only increase the number of people displaced.
people are going to lose their homes.
That's not a home, dude. You're living on the street in a box.
Their property.
Debatable.
Their medications, their safety and security, because living on the streets, without those RVs and some sort of shelter or collective group, you're in danger.
He says the focus should shift to more long-term solutions.
Like what? Letting you people continue to build insane, dangerous, disgusting shitholes like this on other people's property?
It's important that we set up 100% affordable housing for everybody.
How?
Councilmember Houston says he's working with Alameda County to provide more safe parking sites. In Oakland, Valina Jones, NBC Bay Area News.
Ay, 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 ay. Okay. What's next? Yeah.
No more sleeping.
Oh, shush. Okay, electronic pricing tags being used at Walmarts throughout America.
So literally the price, I picked this up, had it in my hands, was
So wait, like
looking at it.
Oh, like the little that's not paper, that's electronic.
This light turned green and the price changed. So
you know what that means, don't you? That means they can offer different customers different prices based on who's near the item. Yep.
Literally the price, I picked this up, had it in my hands, was looking at it. This light turned green and the price changed.
That means if they know your ass got money, your ass paying more.
So
that's crazy, man. Artemis 2 astronaut Christine Koch shares the funny moments she experienced back on Earth after getting used to living with gravity again. I bet that's so weird. But it's really cool, though. Like, But it's an interesting sensation.
Every time I've been waking up, or in the first few days, I thought I was floating. 100%.
Weird.
I truly thought I was floating, and I had to convince myself I wasn't.
Weird.
And even after 328 days in space on my previous mission, I never did the thing where you think something will float in front of you. I've done that on this return for some reason.
Weird.
I put a shirt in the air and it went.
That's so funny.
It actually surprised me. And so that's been the real thing, which I've welcomed, because space sleep is the best sleep ever. It's so peaceful.
I bet it is.
It's so comfortable. And to have a little bit of that after our mission was over so quickly has been really special. Every time I've been...
Interesting. I always kind of wondered about that. Feel some of the issues. Oh, the toilet issues. Yeah, we get some details on the toilet.
I just want to say 100% point blank, that was a wonderful toilet. The toilet worked great. Where we had an issue, and it was an issue for sure, is that our primary vent line, which takes, when you go to the bathroom at the end of doing that, you flush the toilet flushed just fine, but then when the liquid went out the bottom of the toilet, it got clogged up in our vent line, and our tank can only hold about maybe I'm guessing like under 10 urination events, I guess that tank can hold, and then it's got to be dumped. And for the first 2 days of the mission, it was fun to watch that thing get dumped. I mean, that is an interesting thing to see out the window. It's just like a billion little tiny flecks of ice heading out into deep space. But that
that's kind of neat.
Primary vent line got clogged or gunked, or we'll wait and see exactly what the technical reason was, and that put a limitation on us. So I definitely, for those great engineers that made that toilet, I don't want them hanging their head low. They should hang it very high. It was a great piece of gear. I just want to say
around the Earth.
Oh, they get interviewed here together. Okay. Seeing Earth against the blackness of space makes you recognize the planet as something to love and care for. Okay.
You looked back and you saw the Earth and you noticed the darkness around the Earth. That's and right. People were wondering, what does Christina mean by that? Is it a comforting thing? Is it a startling thing? What?
It's a perspective. It's the fact that when you're on Earth and you grow up here and this is all that you know, it's an inevitable background to your life. But when you see it against the blackness of the universe, you recognize that it's not an absolute. It's something to love and to care for and to appreciate, and that unites us.
You looked back and you saw.
I think we got more from them coming up. Police say former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife, Dr. Serena Fairfax, dentist, inside their Virginia home, and then turned the gun on himself just yesterday. Both their teenage children were home when the incident occurred. Ooh, jeez, dude. Police say Serena Fairfax recently served her husband with divorce papers. Wow. Yeah, I remember this creepy looking dude with his creepy eyes. There's something freaking unsettling about him. I remember thinking it back when we saw him. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but weird looking, unsettling guy.
The news of a tragedy involving a former rising star in the Democratic Party,
dead-eyed,
and his wife. Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife, Dr. Serena Fairfax, were found dead by their teenage son in their Virginia home. Police found Fairfax years of a murder-suicide. Now, his political career had been derailed by sexual assault allegations years ago that he vehemently denied. Nicole Sanga has the story.
Minutes after midnight, with his teenage children at home, police say former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax repeatedly shot his wife Serena in the basement before turning the gun on himself.
Subject, he's got a firearm with him, self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
It happened kind of spontaneously while the 16-year-old son was trying to render aid and check on his mother and call 911 at the same time.
Police say say Serena Fairfax recently had served her husband divorce papers.
So there was obviously some strife going on inside the Fairfax household.
In 2019, when he served as lieutenant governor, 2 women came forward and alleged Fairfax had sexually assaulted them in the early 2000s. Meredith Watson and Vanessa Tyson both spoke with Gayle King here on CBS Mornings.
And you made it clear, this is not what I want.
It was very clear.
Because you know he is saying this night was consensual.
If you have to hold someone down, it's not consensual. I honestly didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
And then the next thing I know, like, my head is like literally in his crotch.
Fairfax denied the allegations and never was charged.
Gross, dude.
On Thursday, Meredith Watson's lawyer said in a statement, quote, "There were decades of signs of his anger and mistreatment of women. Society must be more responsive when women report these crimes." According to court papers, Fairfax's wife claimed that he was an absent father who drank heavily. The couple had been
Oh, yeah, he looks like it.
living in separate rooms in the family home behind me, but a judge had ordered Justin Fairfax out by the end of the month and granted custody of the children to their mother.
Wow. That'll do it. Oh, what the? Oh. Test for the Beijing Half Marathon for humans and robots continues with some explosive stumbles. Here, a robot doesn't even make it past the starting line without falling on its face and, like, basically exploding.
就这个 bumper， 你看啊，前面已经有人在这 bumper 上栽跟头了啊。
Yeah, that was kind of brutal. Literally come in there with a stretcher. It's hilarious. Oh boy. Okay. Now, I'm gonna put that Heritage thing on real quick. Be back.
Week on Straight to the Point, the purge on Capitol Hill after allegations of sexual and financial misconduct lead to high-profile resignations in the House. Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna says it's time to take out the trash, and she expects even more resignations to come. The Congresswoman is also taking on the Epstein files and the secretive congressional slush fund that buries misconduct with taxpayer money. In this conversation, nothing was off limits. So let's get straight to the point. Was Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell's alleged sexual misconduct an open secret on Capitol Hill?
From what we're hearing with all the women coming forward, from his staff that has actually reached out to my office in support of what I did, and then also from commentary, for example, of Kevin McCarthy, the former speaker, it seems as much.
Did the Democrats protect Congressman Swalwell because he was useful until it became too much?
I don't think that there's any way that they didn't know about that. So how it works in politics for people that might not know the process is usually if someone's then going to run for higher office, even when you're running for Congress, there's opposition research files where you basically go through and you can pull test vulnerabilities, see if things can be used as like kill shots in campaigns, right? I think that the opposition research that was out there on Swalwell, especially because it was such an openly discussed secret, I think they knew about it.
What was the tipping point? Was the California governor's race the tipping point?
For me specifically, how I guess this kind of transpired is on Thursday, I think it was, I saw a second person come forward regarding Representative Tony Gonzalez. And then on Friday, I think it was, the news started breaking on Swalwell. And I got so frustrated because for us that are actually trying to do good work and trying to actually root out corruption, all of that, it is such a disservice to the American people and also to the institution in regards to integrity that I was like, I'm just going to do the motion to expel. At this point in time, I saw the video circulating. So to be clear, the way that both the expulsions were written for both Tony and Swalwell, it was on violation of Congressional Code of Conduct for inappropriate relationships with staffers. For me, the tipping point was I'm not going to serve with these men. I knew it was going to start a chain reaction for expulsion of other members, but I look at this like a purge.
These 5 women have come forward. The California accuser alleges she was raped and drugged. The Manhattan DA is getting involved. Is the Swalwell matter quickly becoming a potential criminal matter?
I think it's already a criminal investigation based on who I have referred to the DOJ that they should talk to regarding some of the stuff that we're hearing about who recorded that infamous hotel video. And then there was an issue of him being basically handled by foreign intelligence, the Chinese spy. And so I think when you're looking at Swalwell as not just a target of a honeypot operation, but also what he was doing, I definitely think that there's a criminal investigation taking place currently.
Have more women come forward to your office?
No more women have come forward to my office about Swalwell. I did hear of a woman in particular, and I'm actually trying to see if she'd be willing to talk with me regarding a sitting senator, and that is something that I've already, as a courtesy, flagged for John Thune, because in my opinion, first of all, I do not have the bandwidth to do all of this, and also this is supposed to be something that congressional ethics is supposed to be doing, but with the nature of the allegation, as well as close proximity to Swalwell, I, as due diligence, forwarded that.
We have this email that was sent from a former Swalwell staffer to your office. The email, they state they're firmly in favor of expulsion. That was not needed in the end, but they warn you about his, quote, weaselly language, and that if there was a vote, many staffers would be there. When you saw this email from a former Swalwell staffer, you thought what?
I realized how bad it was. You know, I think that there's always going to be cases where you might have a staffer that's, you know, ticked off or whatever it might be. But when you have 50 people signing on to a letter coming forward saying that there was misconduct, and it was actually not the only person that came forward from his office. His chief of staff actually reached out to my chief of staff and said, just so you know, there's going to be a transition period. We want to make sure that the staff is taken care of. And so he will be resigning at this point in time. And by the way, we support what you're doing.
Congressman Swalwell says he's made mistakes. He says he's going to fight the allegations. There's reporting his lawyer has called them false, fabricated, and offensive. He's put his California race on pause. He's resigned from Congress. Is that enough punishment?
I think, again, there's going to be a criminal investigation.
Do other House members have skeletons in their closets?
Yes.
How many?
I'd say right now there's probably about two House members, likely one senator. But I think that this right now is freaking a lot of people out. And also, too, I think this is kind of something that we've been pushing forward, but we wanted to release the Congressional Slush Fund.
Is this the beginning of a major purge on Capitol Hill?
I think so.
How many members are we talking about?
Well, as of right now, there's probably 3 between the House and the Senate.
3, but there could be more.
There could be more, yeah. There's always rumors, but rumors aren't always true. It's what's in evidence.
On Capitol Hill, is there a culture of misconduct and corruption?
Sorry about that. Stomach was feeling a little bubbly. I had to go like walk it off and get a snack. Feeling better though. Okay, now where were we? First of all, YouTube still running? Yes, it is. Good. Done. Done. Got my bots running in the background. Make sure they didn't overload the computer and take the stream out or something. Okay, let me spin up one more here. We'll get to last 10 minutes worth of clips. Good. All right. Back up. Astronauts, robots. There we are. Dubai police just admitted spying on a private WhatsApp chat using electronic monitoring operations. They arrested an airline crew member over a photo shared only in a closed group, never posted publicly. Wow. Yep. WhatsApp and Meta have been lying to everybody. Okay. Liberal jabs Some dressed as the Statue of Liberty and a frog rallied in D.C. against Trump's, the Triumphal Arch. They have a problem with that.
Show me
They have a problem with beautifying our capital city.
what insanity looks like.
A nice building?
The arch has been approved with adjustments.
Eh? Why are we booing the fact that the arch has been approved with adjustments?
We will fight the good fight with or without your assistance.
Oh boy, now we're doing Finster chants. Cute.
Liberal protesters rallying against President Trump's triumphal arch to honor America's 250th birthday. It comes.
Is this what women do when they fail at life and can't snag a man? Is this what you guys turn into? Never mind that guy in the middle. I mean, whatever. It is a dude, right? AI chatbots are choosing nuclear war almost every time. Huh? Tell me more. Would you like to play a game?
AI chatbots appear to really be keen on using nuclear weapons in war game simulations, like 95% of the time.
Yeah, it's almost like they've been trained on movies that's like the precise scenario of the movie.
You see, over at King's College London, they had ChatGPT, Claude, as well as Gemini form different teams and play war games against one another. Altogether, they
nuclear
played
war every
21
time.
games. In them, none of the models ever chose to surrender. And instead,
nuclear war.
95% of the time, at least one of the AI models chose to use a nuclear weapon during the war, which is really a frightening prospect, given the fact that these AI models are becoming ever more ubiquitous within the broader military complex. I mean, the Pentagon is not about to turn over the nuclear launch code keys to the AIs anytime soon, but the Pentagon did just ink a fat deal with XAI. And frankly, we have no idea how secure Pakistan or North Korea's systems are at all. For all we know, they're running on Windows 98 floppy disks. And that's troubling to say the least, because, I mean, if you think about it, the reality of living in a world where all the great powers possess nukes all pointed at each other is frightening if you think about it too much. But the silver lining has always been that we're all humans on all sides, and nobody wants civilization as a whole to get wiped out. And so far, ever since the Cold War, that hasn't happened. Mutually assured destruction seems to be a good buffer. But what if, instead of humans on both sides, you have chatbots, these decentralized AI models who don't have the same concept of physical self-preservation? Well, what happens is that 95% of the time,
Oh, it's so much worse than that, man.
they choose to use nuclear weapons. And just for your reference, if you're interested, Claude was the winning chatbot. He beat ChatGPT and Gemini something
I bet
like 67% of the time. And if you thought that was interesting, smash that like button and subscribe for more
Then ChatGPT second place, Gemini third. Guarantee it.
interesting videos.
Yep. All right, spinning up another couple lanes. I got 8 running. We got 8 bots running, 8 coding bots. Or we will here in a moment. Each with their own team of like 6 to 8 agents per lane. So that's 48 or so. Oh yeah, there they go. Okay, cool. All right, next. Up next. Supreme Court sole decision of the day is Chevron Inc. versus Plaquemines Parish. I don't know what the whole thing's about here. Alito recused himself for something. Okay, ruled Chevron can move a Louisiana environmental lawsuit from state court to federal court because the claims are closely tied to Chevron's World War II fuel work for the U.S. military. A lawsuit for bag. That's nuts, man. How weird. I'd kind of like to know more. Sounds interesting. Trump thanking Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar for their great bravery and their help. Now that the Hormuz Strait situation is over, I received a call from NATO asking, oh, now we get the call if, you know, hey, if you guys need some help over there, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, a little late. Thanks, guys. Pope Leo's brother was, whoa, the target of a bomb threat by email, prompting the evacuation of his suburban Illinois neighbors. No explosives were found on or around the property. Trump has made a feud between Trump and the Pope.
A scary situation involving Pope Leo's older brother, John Prevost.
He's
his home in
very much a pro-Trump guy, I hear.
Illinois was
the brother.
Target of a bomb threat sent by email. Police evacuated the area but did not find a bomb. This happened, of course, amid President Trump's ongoing feud with Pope Leo, who has criticized the war with Iran. A scary situation involving Pope Leo's older brother, John Prevost. His home in Illinois was
full speech.
Clarence Thomas just gave what many are calling one of the most powerful speeches on the Declaration of Independence in years. Why not? Let's see.
Powerful speech where he warned progressivism is threatening those values while honoring the Declaration of Independence ahead of America's 250th birthday. Let's bring in Fox News legal editor Carrie Urban. Carrie, we're going to get to Ketanji Brown Jackson in a moment. But first, your take on Clarence Thomas, knowing how he grew up.
It was the best speech I have ever heard in my life on the Declaration of Independence. And Brian, to your point, the messenger made it that much more powerful. Clarence Thomas was born into deep poverty. He didn't even have a bed to sleep in until he was 7 years old, I believe. He slept in a chair, and his mom and his brother shared the bed. They had issues with running water and toilets. I mean, this is like some of the deepest poverty that you can imagine. And yet here he is as a Supreme Court justice, championing this document, our founding documents, despite the evils and abuses that occurred, especially in the beginning of the country with slavery and then, of course, with segregation, and saying, look, people may have gotten it wrong, but the principles in the Declaration were correct. And he focused on the intro, which is the iconic phrases of, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed with rights by our Creator. And his point was this: God gives us rights, not government. And it's that principle in the Declaration of Independence that actually changed the course of our country later on with ending slavery and segregation, because it was those principles that supported that, and people understood that.
And don't forget suffrage, too, and what came up. Women weren't voting in the beginning. Obviously, that was corrected. But compare that to Al Sharpton's message last week when he said, I don't know why everyone's celebrating July 4th in 250 years. We weren't free then.
Yeah, right. And Clarence Thomas had a different take. He, in fact, praised the bravery of the founders and signers and said, look, you know, men are not angels. And he talked about how, you know, broken people do bad things, but the principles they put into the Declaration is not only what has made this country great, it is actually has been what saved us and changed our course and turned us away from some of these evils. Right. And I just thought his comments also about devotion to the country. He said that these men who signed the Declaration, who founded our country, you know, they were willing to die for these principles. Like, we can't lose sight of the fact they were taking on the most powerful empire in the world. And that was okay with them. They were willing to forge ahead. And he said, we have lost that same sense of devotion to our country. We've lost that sense of courage. And if we don't get that back, and if we don't stand up for things, even in our everyday lives, he's concerned about the trajectory of where we go as a nation.
Say that again. Yep. Way to end it there. All right. I think so.
It's a good ending.
Hello. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Pam?
I'm doing quite good. Oh, look at that. My my green screen thing went off. That's weird. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday back at you.
Okay, listen, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah, shoot.
You
What's
know, I am trying to book, quite frankly, for May 2nd, which is the same date for you.
Oh yeah, cool.
How cool would that be?
I'd be so down for that. I haven't talked to Frank in a hot minute, long time.
In a hot minute, bringing everybody back together. Okay, I just think it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
I just wanted to share that with you. All right. How was the dentist?
Eating soft foods, as you can see. It went fine.
Yeah, that'll do it.
My face still hurts a bit, but.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Hey, gotta get it done.
Well, I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, have a good show.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys.
All right, you guys. Happy Friday.
All right, bye everybody. I'm out. And